Yeah. Swastik, I guess we are good to start. The setup is done.
I think, yeah, yeah. Now it's better.
Yeah, I muted the screen. That's why. Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay. Yeah. So, hi. The screen. That's why. The mobile. Sorry.
No.
Okay. So, yeah. So, hello everyone. So, we are here for the talk 4 of DevHost 2023, and we have with us Swastik Shetty, is cloud solution engineer at Google, and also he have been GitHub campus expert, Google developers expert, and also president of Sayadri open source community. So, yeah, welcome Swastik.
Thanks.
And yeah, yes, and he will be talking about placement, like ask me anything about placement. The session is, but he is open to talk regarding any projects or any tech stacks which you want to ask, or like whether you want to get started with cloud. He can help you with all those things. So yeah, this will be mostly interactive session. So you can put your messages in the YouTube live chat. I will be reading out from there. So yeah, we can start. Over to you, Swastik.
Thanks, Devesh, for the quick intro. So I'll just start with my introduction for the folks who are not aware who I am, or maybe seeing me for the first time, right? Or my juniors probably. So I'm Swastik Shetty. I'm a 2022 graduated from Sayadri College of Engineering and Management, from Information Science and Engineering Department. So during my so currently I work as a cloud solution engineer too at Google, under Google Cloud team. Whereas every day we as a team try to solve the real world problems for our customers. So when I say these customers are the customers who are super big tech companies or any large scale companies. And as Divesh mentioned, I was part of several open source communities leading as a GitHub campus expert. I was part of Microsoft Learn Student Ambassador. I was part of Google Developer Student Club and Hack Club. And also I was leading Sayadri open source community. I think that's a quick intro of myself. So I want to keep this session very interactive. I'm open to questions related to placements, academics, or opportunities in industry. How, or maybe if you are interested to listen about my journey, it's not something very special. It's again the ordinary journey, but maybe the challenges I have faced during my college days, and how did I overcome them. Also, if you need any helps about the placement preparations, I'm up for it. So, over to you, folks. Divesh, I think you will be picking some questions, right?
Yeah, guys, you can drop your questions in the YouTube live chat. Cool. I will read out those. So there are some welcomes from Achal and Rishabh. Yeah. Okay, Achal has a question about off-campus hiring.
Okay. Cool. So I believe that it all on you folks. First, the question is on you. Do you guys want to sit for placements? Obviously you pay for it, you have to attend. But again, when it comes to placements, do you want to go for service-based companies or product-based companies? I think Adib might have touched this topic a bit. Just to give a bit of difference, right? The service-based companies are the big tech company, large-scale companies where they take projects from their customers or from their clients. They do sort of design with the help of employees from their company, and they deliver the project. So those companies are sort of service-based companies, like for example, Infosys, TCS, Capgemini, so etc. Whereas product-based companies are the companies who have a problem statement, they come up with a product and they go to the market. And the rest of the companies, like big tech companies such as Google, Microsoft, Amazon, Spotify, Shopify, PayPal, etc. So these are the product-based companies. So everyone has their own preference. I personally had a preference of just going for off campus, or not just off campus. I had a preference of joining a product based company rather than a service based company. Only because I did some research. I had spoken to my seniors who got into these service based companies, and understanding how these companies works, right? What happens is in service-based companies, it all depends on the projects you get from the client or the company's clients, right? Uh, if you're lucky, you get a very good project, you get to travel, and you see growth. But most probably, it's very rare that a fresher will be added to a project. I mean, a big project. Usually, it's sort of a small project, and it takes time to grow as an individual to a certain limit, right? Whereas as a you join a product-based company, you work on a product or a feature directly, and there are no criteria or factors like the company is waiting for the client to come in pitch about the problem statement, because they have their own product, they have their own way to generate this revenue. So the pay wise, it's a huge difference. All the product based companies pay really well, including small scale companies like startups. So regarding back to the question about on campus and off campus, right? At least during my period in Sayadri, a lot of companies were service based companies, and hardly we had product based companies. So my focus was trying to get more offers through off campus, whereas I was giving interviews on campus as well, but I was very choosy. Maybe I used to pick only few companies which are product based companies again, and I used to give interviews only to those companies. I never gave interview to any service based companies. So if you are sure about your goals, your plan, and if you are confident about your work, right, you have to make a plan what you want. uh, but again, imagine there are other factors why you are not able to get any offers from the product based companies. It's totally fine to start your career with a client based company. There are some companies like Infosys, they have a very dedicated training. A lot of my friends and seniors who have been through that training had shared their feedback. It's really good. So starting like Infosys training has a really good recognition, or even once you switch later on down the line, uh, the training adds a lot of values on your resume. You will be good once you get trained. So this is what I heard from the people who join service based companies. But again, it depends. There are a lot of difference from product based company and service based company. Not just the pay, the work life balance in service based companies. uh, it depends. I believe it's sort of from easy to medium, or sometimes the work life balance is really good because you don't get project but you get paid, right? But again, when you think about your career wise, if you don't work on much project, you don't get much experience. So if you want to switch, uh, during interview they ask what are the projects you have worked on. So if you don't have enough project to explain or discuss during the interview, then they feel that you are not up to the mark. But if you see the other side, if you don't get paid, if you don't get any projects, you still get paid. Yeah. And in the product based companies, if you see for startups, right, they pay really well these days. It all depends on the funds they get raised. But again, if it's a very small team, and if you're working on a very large project, you will have a very less work life balance. Whereas you focus more on working on your core project, sometimes you might have to work on Saturdays and Sundays as well, or maybe extend your working hours. uh, Compared to big tech companies where you have a very fixed timeline, or yeah, very fixed timeline where you start your work and maybe you can call it as log in and log off. So you have a very dedicated time. So yeah, so again, the question is back to you. You'd have to decide whether you want to go for a on campus or off campus. As a suggestion, I would suggest you to apply for as many as possible. Off campus, it's a bit it's a bit hard. You need to apply. There are a lot of people competing from your batch, from your seniors, and it's open, right? Anyone can apply for this role. Whereas on campus, it becomes a pretty easy since the crowd is less. And when the company comes to campus, they have sort of criteria that at least 5 folks or 3 folks they need to hire, because they also spend a lot of money and time in conducting these interviews, right? So on campus, it's easy. It's like a lot of service-based companies, and it's a nice way to get into any corporate world. Whereas off campus, you need to struggle a lot of efforts. You need a very good resume, very good portfolio, or any good contribution if you are into open source. You need to keep applying a lot. You get a lot of rejection, or you shouldn't get discouraged, and you need to still apply, and you just need 1 year to get into a good company, right? So yeah, so you need to decide what you want. I hope this answers your question.
Yeah. So, like, let's go to other questions. There is one question from Ayman Mohammed. Since the market is getting harder, should we focus on system design?
So again, it depends, right? If you are looking into a software engineering role, and if you're looking for software engineering role, then system design comes into a picture, or any role sort of which comes on the server side, right? Like for example, SRE role, site reliability engineer, or cloud solution engineer, where we work on the back end, making sure things are working fine. Including software engineering team, you will need these skills. But for software engineer, as a fresher, it's not mandatory to have, but it's a nice skill to have. But if you're looking for roles like SRE, cloud solution engineers, or any roles which deals with the backend, right? System engineers. So those folks or those roles need system design badly, because you will be working on the server side, or you will be dealing with system or servers, or backend architecture, right? So you will have to understand how the architecture is designed, how things scale up. So that adds a lot of values. So again, if you're looking for a SWE role, it's not mandatory for a fresher, but if you are looking for like a senior software engineer, or if you're looking for a startup, and if you have these skills, it's add a lot of values on your resume. Whereas if you're looking for SRE role, or cloud solution engineer, anything related sort of roles, then I feel fundamentals are very important. At least you should know some basics.
Yeah. So I guess Ayman, it answers your question. If you have anything to follow up, just put it in the chat. So next we have Varadaraj Kini. He asked, what is your opinion on MS, and what is the advantage of doing MS?
So this is a trick question. Everyone has their own preference. I know people who are doing masters after their engineering, like MS. One thing what I personally notice, right? We have very limited opportunities here as soon as we complete our engineering. Whereas if you do masters like MS in some really good college, right? The opportunities are very high. You get a lot of good tech companies coming into your campus. So getting into these companies becomes much easier. But again, I'm not sure how much of knowledge it adds to yourself or to you, because if you ask me personally, I feel the individual working in a company for 2 years, and a person who is doing masters have a lot of difference. Okay, so let's get into practical. If you are looking for a company, imagine you are a hiring manager. Whom would you prefer? Having someone with the theoretical knowledge or someone with practical knowledge who worked on a good company with a lot of tech stacks and a lot of projects. So whom would you prefer? Right? Uh, I think that way. Okay, I might be wrong also. Everyone has their own theory, but this is how I think. If I was a hiring manager, I would prefer someone who knows things to do, who was working on projects, who has a lot of skills, practically did something, than a person who just has a degree, right? But if you see the other side, people with MS get a lot of more opportunities. I know people who flew to different country, and then they did masters there, after which they get a lot of more opportunities. That way they started their career in a good company, but again you need to spend a lot of money again, right? uh, but yeah, if you see people, at least talking about companies like Google, Microsoft, having masters is nice, but they also expect you to have a practical knowledge or did some really good project during your college or your course. uh, Pay wise, there is no much difference. Even though you did masters, you don't get paid extra, whereas people with 2 years of experience get a bit high paid. This is what I have observed and heard from recruiters. uh, yeah, I think these difference will help you to differentiate, like how much, I mean, whether MS helps not. But again, it's always nice to have good degrees from good colleges.
Yeah. So moving on to the next question, we have one question from Achal, and I guess I can also relate to that question. How did you get GitHub Campus Expert in your first year itself, while most of us are just discovering everything in first year?
I mean, good question. So again, when I was in college, like when I tell college is 11th and 12th, I was not much passionate about coding. I was in computer science, but I was just a ordinary student who used to go to college for fun. I was into sports, so I used to spend most of my college days in ground than in classroom. So I somehow used to by heart read the code and then write it by understanding the syntax, but not really passionate how things work. Since after I joined engineering college, uh, I understood. Okay, now I have to get a bit serious because after 4 years, I have to get some job, right? That's where I started understanding how things work. Uh, and then I feel it was a coincidence that there was a hackathon hosted by GitHub, oh, not GitHub, sorry, by SOSC, and there was beginning of the session. There were some talks. It was a Hacktoberfest again. There were some sessions conducted by SOSC folks, and I saw Mustaq, who was a first SOSC member who was leading GitHub Campus Expert community. I He explained about the program, how things work, and I felt okay. This is something where I need to get into to understand how communities work and to explore a lot of more opportunities. And then I joined SOSC as a member, where I got to know more about opportunities, communities, how things work, and yeah, that's where I was exposed to this GitHub Campus Expert community. I went back, I did some research how things work, saw a lot of open source communities similar to GitHub, but I felt GitHub was something very new. They had a really good goal of exchanging the knowledge, contributing back to the community by what you learn. That's why I had applied for the Campus Expert program. Uh, yeah, and I believe it was in my first sem where I applied, end of first sem. And at that point, only Mustaq was a GitHub Campus Expert. After which, uh, and then I was also I was aware that there are other two folks like seniors, right? Shashank and Akashdeep. They had applied, but their application got accepted, but they didn't complete the training. Like, and yeah, at that point, I still applied to see if my application can go through, and I was accepted to the program. And later comes the difficult part. That's a very hard part where you have to complete the training. So training takes a lot of time. You need to write a lot of things describing your leadership or how you think, which will be reflected through the words, and then you submit it. There are community leads who go through these response. They see whether you are in a right way. The training consists a lot of technical, non-technical, leadership skills, uh, and soft skills as well. Once I think my whole training period took one sem, I guess, around one and a half sem. Not yeah, one and a half sem. I think end of first year or beginning of second year, my results were out. I completed the training, and then I was officially a GitHub campus expert. But yeah, the whole process takes a lot of time. It all depends on how you write. Like, I believe when you apply, you need to write few lines, where it's very important to describe not just who you are, also your passion towards these communities. What are your goals in a very short or a very quick summary. Once they feel okay, you're the right person, you are part of these communities. I was part of SOSC by them, and then see your passion in open source as well. So these are the factors which comes into picture, and yeah, that's how I was able to clear the interview. Okay, just after the training, there was one round of interview, I guess. One or two rounds of interview. And then after which they officially announced that you are the GitHub campus expert. So this whole thing took 1 year.
I hope it answers like actually, yeah, it makes sense. Like being in a community actually does a lot of impact in your resume and as well as whatever you are applying.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes. Yes. So Achal, that's your question. So next we have Pranit is asking, could you provide your resume for reference so that we can know how does a Google selected resume looks like?
Honestly speaking, when I was applying for companies, I used to have multiple resumes, each for different roles, because I was applying for software engineering, I was applying for SRE roles as well. And for cloud solution engineer, I had to tweak a bit. So I would suggest you folks not use the same resume for all the roles. See what sort of roles you are applying for. Based on that, try to prioritize all these skills and mention that. But yeah, maybe I can share some resumes what I have used. Once again, for Google, it's not just one resume which took me there. There were multiple resumes I had to submit. First, I think just before the hiring manager reached out to me, she asked for the resume. Soon after I completed all my interviews, she reached out to me again, asked for the updated resume, and I had shared a bit different resume, which is more readable and a bit colorful. Whereas first time I did submit the resume, which was 80 ATS, I think ATS, right? Or ATS or ATC. Yeah, it's ATS. So, which was in ATS format. That way, most of my details were passed, I believe. If your resume is not in ATC format, what happens is, for example, when I spoke to the hiring manager of my team, he was saying that within 24 hours there were 10K applications for the same role, which is Cloud Solution Engineer 2022 grad. And these were just college grad folks. So they had to stop the opening. So imagine how the recruiter went through all the resumes. I'm pretty sure they can't go through 10K applications, right? So they might use some softwares which scans these resumes, gives a summary, and maybe give a stack rank based on people having relevant skills to the particular role. So based on these stack ranks, they go through from top to bottom. In case if your resume is not ATS format, what happens is your resume will the ATS formatter or not formatter, the ATS parser will not able to pick all the details from your resume. So that means you're losing a lot of opportunities. Your stack ranking might be low, due to which recruiter will not even reach out to you or will not even see your resume, even though your resume is really, really good, right? So this is one tip. Since we are talking about resume, I would suggest make sure that your resume is in ATS format. You can check for, you can just Google ATS formatted resumes, or Harvard has the resume format, which is a bit popular in the industry. So you can check that template. It's very plain, white and black, with minimal design. It's just text and white. It's just a text in a white sheet of paper. Just go for it. And you can test your resumes. You can check for ATS parser or ATS formatter. There are a lot of online tools where you insert your resume and it passes the information. It will tell how the percentage, right? That way you can evaluate your resume. Also, if you want, one good thing I did was I used to share my resume with my seniors who just got hired, not just one or two folks, with multiple folks. Ask if any changes has to be done or anything need to be added. So that way I got a lot of feedback, not just from one person, from multiple persons, which helped me to make sure that my resume is up to the mark. And yeah, maybe at the end I can share some more tips on the resume, but I hope this works for you. But yeah, just to summarize, I will be sharing some of the resumes which I used. But yeah, please keep in mind all the tips what I've shared.
Yeah. So moving on to the next question by Ranjit Kumar is asking, can you give DSA roadmap for a beginner and what roadmap you followed yourself?
Cool. So when I started, there were a lot of, I think it was the COVID time where a lot of YouTubers were getting popular. They were sharing their DSA roadmaps. I would suggest you to go through these. If you are starting DSA, first thing is to pick a programming language. It could be anything. C++, Java, C, or Python. I think these four are the popular languages which can be used for DSA. Plus, I can tell you a plus point. If you use Python or Java, that adds a bit more value on your resume, because to start DSA, you will know the language. You should know the language, right? So if you're knowing Python, if you're knowing Java, or if you're knowing C++, that gives you more opportunities, because currently, if you see, there are a lot of companies who still uses Java on their backend, right? Or C++. Having these tech stacks will give you more opportunities. I have been interviewed for some companies, but at the end of the interview, they're like, you don't have Java, or you don't know Java. Honestly, I don't know Java. And they're like, oh, we are looking for someone who is really good in Java and who has a bit of experience. So those roles I was not even able to complete, even though I did perform well during the interview. But yeah, if you know Java, it's good. If you know C++, good. But Python, C also works. Okay. So pick a language, spend some time understanding how things work, see how the data structures work, learn about the data structure concepts. data structures becomes a very important or fundamental concepts for a computer science or information science engineering student. Because if you want to get into IT, you should at least know fundamentals, right? That's what they expect. So pick a language, start DSA, data structures, learn about data structures, try to implement these data structures using the preferred language. Then start with object-oriented programming. Uh, Learn about the concepts. And when you learn about object-oriented programming, don't give examples like, uh, very basic example, what's written in the textbook. Recruiters don't like that, or interviewers don't like that. They believe that you don't know to use these concepts. Every concept you learn in this computer science, right? Try to map it to a real world example or real world use case. For example, you're using a priority queue. Where do you use it, right? Where, for example, for caching, or if there is sort of a or tasks which are being executed, and you want to sort it based on the priority on the operating system, so use them there. But yeah, so see how where is arrays used, where is graphs used, where are trees used. Knowing this practical use case becomes a very important. Even for object oriented programming, interviewer might ask where to use inheritance, and if you say parent child, and if you give an example which is in textbook, right, they don't prefer that. Try to give some real world example. If you want, I think if you google, you should get some examples, or watch some videos uh, where they explain about real world scenarios, and then see where object oriented programming is used. So if you're learning something, you should know the purpose of that, right? If you're learning like React, so you should know where do you use it, why it is used, what are the other alternatives. Like, I think you should know why, where, at least these two for each concepts. So if you know that, then you make a purpose of learning something. Oh, yeah. Once you master one, and then once you learn about data structures and object-oriented programming, there are some algorithms which you will learn when you start solving questions. Don't just wait to complete the entire data structure concept and then start solving questions. Don't do that. DSA works parallelly. So if you're learning about arrays today, go home, try to solve some easy questions related to array. That's how you implement something what you learn, right? Just learning won't help you anyway. So when you learn something, try to implement that. Try to implement array. Try to implement dynamic array. Try solving questions related to array. It's totally fine. If you're stuck, if you don't understand concepts, you know what particular concept you need to check. Like, you're not able to understand about pointers, or if you're not able to understand about two pointers, anything like that. So that's where you go back, watch some videos related to that particular topic, come back, go through the question again, see if you're not able, if you are able to answer this question. Spend 20 minutes for each question. Still, if you're not even able to start, it's totally fine. Go to the solutions, see the solution, try to understand why that solution is being approached or given, right? Reading code is also very important. And then once you understand, try to come back, write the same solution or tweak according to you, and then see, this is how you learn. If you don't try, you're not going to learn. So this is how you learn DSA. I know this particular roadmap. It's Neat Code. It's from Neat Code. They have their YouTube channel as well where they teach DSA. I think this has a pretty much roadmap which talks about how you need to start learning about DSA. And it has a lot of questions inbuilt, so you can go through that. These are a bit popular questions, but I would suggest go through this first. If you have enough time, go through Lead Code, participate in contests like CodeChef has their contests which are really, really popular. Code Forces. Start solving, start spending some time. If you wait till your final year, it's not going to happen. Trust me, DSA and solving problems takes a lot of time. at least three months, 6 months to get a good grip. If you think that last 2 months of my final year or pre-final year I'll spend learning DSA and then crack good companies, not gonna happen. You need consistency every day. Solve at least one problem. I'm pretty sure you folks are in college. I was also in college 2 years back, so I know you can squeeze some time out of your schedule. Spend half an hour. Half an hour is like a very minimum. Okay, I'm pretty sure you can spend up 1 hour to 2 hour in an average. So try to spend so much of time. Try doing learning something, and that trust. So whatever you do in 4 years, right, during your engineering, it's gonna reflect for entire career. So if you spend some 4 years learning something, doing something great, your the rest of the life or your career becomes much easier. You don't have to struggle a lot. Again, it's never too late. Even if you're in pre-final year, final year, or in second year, you have enough time. Only thing is you just have to start. So yeah, I think this should help you to start with DSA.
Yeah, so the neat code link we have sent in the this thing, YouTube chat. You can check through that. Okay, so yeah, so the next question is, okay, Achal Venkatesh, in off-campus for freshers, is it easier to get a job in startups or other established companies?
Good question. So when I say off-campus, I would like there are three skills, like small startups, small scale companies, where usually they are startups but in a small size, and then come some mid-size companies where they can be a startup which have grown to a big company, or big tech companies, right? If you see Flipkart, Myntra, and some Cred are also a startup, but they are like a unicorn startup. They have raised from scratch to even Flipkart, right? To a particular stage. So that means they are also growing. They have grown from past few years. What happens is when you go off through, when you apply for a company through off campus, if you apply for a very big companies, they have a right team. They know what are the roles, what are the responsibilities for a fresher. So they set a right expectation. So they expect you to know about fundamentals, do some basic project in your college days, and know a bit of coding. So and know about the fundamentals for sure. A bit of coding and fundamentals is what they expect. Whereas if you go for a startup, the team is less. You will be working almost on a lot of things, right? So if you have more skills, that means startup wants that potential where they know a lot of skill. Employee knowing a lot of skills, right? Let's give an example. There are two folks. Person one and person two. Person one knows a good DSA and can crack a decent job, whereas person two did a lot of projects and good tech stack. They know some things hands on. So why will a startup spend same money on a person who just knows basic fundamentals of basic coding, whereas there is another individual who knows a lot of things. They have a good tech stack. They did some projects, because for startups, they don't have enough time for training, right? So if you get onboarded, I think in the first week itself, they'll be like, okay, this is our source code. Go through that. If you have any questions, you can reach out to us and we can help. And these are the courses you need to learn. That's how they onboard. Whereas if you go for a big companies, they have a very detailed training. You will have to go through a training for months and years also sometimes. Very dedicated mentors, You get enough time to learn. But only thing is, after 2 years, right? If you see, if you're working in a startup, after 2 years, you know the entire startup, literally from scratch, how each component works, how each features works. You work in a smaller team, whereas compared to a bigger company, you work on a particular feature itself, so you don't know how the other features work or what other teams are working on. So when you go for off campus, having more skills adds more values. But basic thing what they expect is fundamentals, data structures, algorithm, good in at least one or two programming languages. So when I say good, it means really good, like you should know end to end almost. And if you have worked on good projects, it's good. uh, and yeah, so I think these are the very necessary skills every individual should have. Whereas if you know about networking, OS, databases, it adds a lot of more values. It makes you stand out of the crowd. So having more skills means more opportunities. But to crack any company, you should have fundamentals at least. You should know fundamentals. You should know any one programming language thoroughly. Yeah, I hope this helps. But yeah, feel free to ask counter questions if you feel that my answers are not clearing your doubts or concerns.
Yeah. So next we have actually two people asked similar kind of question. I will merge those and ask you.
Perfect.
So Real Mayor asked, "What was your CGPA?" And Vartaraj Kini asked, "Is CGPA very important in off-campus? And what about backlogs?"
Okay. Uh, yeah. So I was an average student in college, so I didn't have much. Uh, I mean, I wouldn't say I was bad either. I was decent. So I had grade around 8.2 to 8.3, uh, which was average, I believe, for our university. Uh, I would suggest you to have a decent GPA. I wouldn't ask you to have more than 9. It's very hard for everyone. But if you spend some time, not like me who's just studying before the exam, if you prepare well and if you can get more than 8.5, it's really good. More than 8.5 is like, I would like, you have all the opportunities. What happened is, maybe I can quickly share if you're not aware of this incident. Uh, when Cohesity came to campus during my batch, initially they told 8 is the criteria, 8 GPA is a criteria. So we all were preparing. There were 150 folks shortlisted. So during my preparation, I was preparing well because that was one good company which was coming on campus for SRE role, which is sort of close to what I wanted to get in. And they were paying really well as well. But yeah, after some time, just before the interview, I think 2 3 days before the interview, we get a mail from the placement department saying Cohesity increased their criteria and they made it 8.5 GPA. So due to which I was not even eligible to give interview. I'm pretty sure I have worked hard for that, but unfortunately I was not able to give the interview. Right. So that happens, uh, which was a bit shocking for a lot of people. Around 150 folks were shortlisted initially, but soon after the mail, only 80 to 100 folks were shortlisted. Uh, I would say so. If I would have had more than 8.5 GPA, maybe I would have got that opportunity as well, or maybe I have done really well, right? So in this case, I didn't even get an opportunity to give an interview. So that's why having decent GPA is important. And then a lot of stories have heard through on campus. What happens is, during on campus, if a company shortlists 2 people, for example, and they have only one requirement. They have pretty much same skill. So how would the last criteria would be they check the GPA? I'm not really sure if this is still being used or not, but this is what I heard from my seniors. When it comes to off-campus startups, they don't even care if you have a backlog or if you have a good GPA or not. They look for skills, as I told. They don't have enough time to evaluate. They just want to know if you are ready to start working from next day itself, right? If they think that you have a potential, you have a lot of skills, technical skills, hands-on experience, you did a lot of projects, then they would just be like, start working. We just want you to join the team. But again, some big companies do see CGPA also as one of the factor to shortlist, because a lot of applications come. They need some criteria to shortlist people. So there's no definite answer, but having decent GPA is very important. More than 8.5 is really good. 8 is also good, but less than 7.5 is not good.
Yeah. So the next question, could you share some info about some campus ambassador programs, their importance, benefits, and impact?
Good question. Uh, so there are a lot of open source, not just open source, there are a lot of communities. Uh, Maybe I would start telling why did I join the community, what are the opportunities I got, and then later maybe tell about openings or companies which look for the what do you say, ambassadors, right? I think I was part of GitHub. I was part of Microsoft Learn Student Ambassador. I was part of Code Chef. I was part of Hack Club. I was part of Google Developer Student Club. Uh, so there are a lot of clubs and communities out there. I think now it should be a bit more, since 2 years back, companies or like people got to know that open source or any sort of communities in campus helps people or students in their career, right? First, I would start with SOSC because that's where it all started in my case. Once I joined the community, I got to know about seniors. So through seniors, I got to know what are they working on, how are they preparing for placements, what is a GPA needed. Uh, we didn't have a mentor mentee sort of thing. Uh, whom would I mean? I'm from a college where I come from Malaysia, so there were some seniors, but again, I was not really sure how to reach out to them. Maybe I was a bit introvert, I guess. But this community made a safe space for me, where I could ask my questions randomly to anyone, and people were happy to answer them. They never uh, took it lightly. They always answered my questions no matter what. I remember I used to reach out to my seniors, ping them, and ask, "Oh, dude, I'm getting this error. How do I fix them?" Or if I'm working on a project, I don't know how to start, or I'm getting some weird error, I don't know how to solve, right? So that time there were no chat GPTs or nothing like that. Maybe I had to go to Stack Overflows. Or still, if I'm not able to find, then reaching out to the people was the only option I had back then. So I used to reach out to people. So seniors played a huge role in my case. They helped me. And when you are in a community, it's not just you growing. It becomes a responsibility of each individual to make sure that along with you, there are community members or people around you also growing, right? So that's how we all encourage each other. We all share knowledge for free, and that's the main motivation of why SOC was started. We want to do it. We want to share our knowledge for free, uh, and wanted to help each other. Right? It's not just me growing. I want others to grow as well along with me. And if you see, this is a fact, right? You might see posters outside campus or around the campus that people getting into good packages, out of which I can assure you that most of the folks are a part of SOC member. Uh, a lot of people. I don't want to take out names, but I'm sure that you are aware. Or if not, then every year see who is getting the maximum pay or a package, right? Or any off campus. See if they were part of SOSC. I'm pretty sure out of 100%, see 80 to 90% were part of SOSC. So that means there are more opportunities when it comes to even when you are part of communities. Okay, there's an event happening there. You all go participate together. You get a lot of exposure. So that way, when I joined SOSC, I got to know about GitHub Campus Expert. Once I was part of GitHub Campus Expert, I got to talk to not just my seniors from my college. I got to talk to people across the globe who are doing their studies, right? Uh, that way, it gave me a lot of more exposure. See what's happening. Trust me, people also share job opportunities as well. If you join any community, if there are any openings in US or any other regions, they share the opportunity, and that gives you more exposure. You don't have to sit and scroll LinkedIn to know about opportunities, right? People share the opportunities, and these opportunities are very inclusive, and it's less popular. Whereas in LinkedIn, there will be 100 people watching and applying at the same time. So these opportunities are people who are working already in a company, and they know that there is opening in their team. So what they do is they internally add it in these communities. Reason being, if they add it on their LinkedIn, there can be anyone who is not at all interested in tech but just want a job. They apply for that role. But people in a tech communities are the one who are passionate about tech, right? That's why already they filter some people, and the people who apply through these through these communities are the one who are passionate about, who really want to do something impactful. So that's why they share these opportunities in these groups. There are a lot of hackathons happening. I was part of hackathon. So there was a hackathon happening in Kerala. Due to COVID, it was virtual. It was from a cyber dom, and the hackathon was open for all. I got to know about this hackathon again through a community. Uh, I asked my folks, I asked my friends. They were not interested or they were busy, and I wanted someone to participate with me. That's where I reached out to people. I reached out in the group looking for people, and I met some amazing folks who are into tech, joined along with them, participated, and I was, one of the team who were in top 50 globally. So that helped me to know other people, learn from them, reach out to people. That gives a lot of benefits. So other than that, you get to attend events, and the company is gonna pay for it. When I became campus expert, there was GitHub Universe. When I became a GitHub campus expert, there was a GitHub Universe, which is an annual event happening. And that year it was supposed to happen in Paris. I was supposed to fly to Paris and attend the event in person. But unfortunately, COVID hit badly. Everything became virtual, and I missed that opportunity. That being said, in my final year, I got to travel a bit, and all the expense are taken by these communities. So I don't even have to spend a penny, including food, stay, flight, travel, everything. So that those are the four perks what you have. But important thing is you learn, you meet people, you socialize, you get more opportunities, and then you can't miss swags, right? So you get a lot of swags exclusive from these communities, and the amount of swags you get is like a lot. You're gonna love it. So that should be a motivation to join these communities, start exploring, learn, and grow, and yeah, or definitely contribute back to the community. So to talk about, there are a lot of clubs and communities which I am aware of. Google has a Google Developer Student Club. That is for college folks. There is GTG, which started in Mangalore very recently. So you can join those clubs as well. Hack Club is something started in US, if I'm not wrong. And this club, the main purpose of this club is to encourage school kids, not college folks, school kids, right, or who are in school, should start the tech. Trust me, I knew a guy who was in 6th or 7th grade, and he was writing code in Next.js when I was in my pre-final year and learning Next. So see the difference, right? This He was from uh, Indonesia, I guess. I don't remember the region, but yeah, you see the difference. A a 7th or 6th standard grade kid and a pre-final year kid. Uh, so there's a lot of difference. And he used to be the one of the major contributor for Hack Club. He used to host events, right? So that sort of opportunities you get. If you don't get opportunities in college, it's totally fine. You get to lead some of the major global events if you're part of these clubs and communities. And yeah, also Hack Club is something. But I got to know that Hack Club stopped supporting college, like engineering college students, and they focus again back uh, to clubs and like school folks, like kids from school. But you can always try. Hack Club is something really cool. Their swags are really cool. Then there is Microsoft Learn Student Ambassador. You get to, if you want to start learning about cloud, right? If you're part of this club, you'll get credits to learn Azure. There are a lot of courses. So start learning Azure. And just give me a sec. Yeah, and then you get to attend the benefits as well. Yeah, you get to use the benefits, and then what else? Coach Chef has a chapter program. I'm not sure if they still continue it. Then there is Coach Chef. But yeah, there is Postman who started just after my graduation, maybe pre-final year, I guess, where they teach about REST APIs, how things work. You get more hands-on on their tools. Uh, So maybe I can share some more list of clubs and opportunities, but this is something what I am aware of right now. So you can always check them. Also, maybe if there's enough time, I can quickly share a quick story. What happened? Yeah. So what happened is I got to know about an opportunity through a community. Okay, and I was not interested in that particular role, but I suggested my friend, and she applied for that role. She got hired, and since we were in third year, she was not hired as a full time. She worked as a intern for 2 years, and even during the internship, she got the same amount of money what a full time employee gets. So that means my friend was already working from third year, right? And yeah, so that sort of opportunities you get. And now she joined as a community head. She was part of SOSC. She joined as a community head, and she was leading Coach Chef as a community lead. And now she switched to a technical role where she works as a full-time engineer, a full-time developer. Yep. Any other questions or any other topics you want to know more?
Yeah. So the next question we have is by Achal. What does cloud solution engineer actually have to do?
Huh. Oh. So to talk more about this role, right? Uh, so I work in a team called Cloud Solution Engineering team under Google Cloud, where I work as a work in a break fix team. So when I say break fix team, it's sort of not building something. It's not a regular software engineering role where you code entire day. What we do is we get cases. So when I say cases, it's high priority cases where the customer's production is down, right? And then what we have to do is we need to investigate what's happening. Why did the issue occur? How did it occur? And how to fix them? And then you work with multiple teams or you work independently. It's all up to you. There's a lot of collaboration happening between software engineering team, SRE team, and solution engineering team. So these three work very closely. Uh, so what we do is we sort of investigate, we see what's happening, we have backend access, so we see what went wrong, and then we try to fix the issue. This is a overview how what a cloud solution engineering engineer do. Also, we get to work on tools to automate or to help reduce the incidents, right? Yeah, and best part is you get to talk to people. It's a very dynamic role where you get to solve real world problems every day. It's not the same issue you solve every day or do the same task every day. Also, you get to see the architecture of customers. So that means you see how customers design their architecture, how things work, how they use a particular product. But yeah, again, under cloud solution engineering and under Google Cloud Solution Engineering, well, there are four teams, I would say, or short. Yeah, four teams: networking, data engineering, serverless, or platform, and then infra. So I am part of a data engineering team specialized in BigQuery and Cloud Composer. So if you are aware of these two products, then yeah. If not, then BigQuery is a data warehouse product, and Cloud Composer is a orchestration tool for managing and organizing the cron jobs. I think how I explained about the role, but again, in short, it's a break fix team. How SRE works for Google, we work as SRE for customers.
Yeah. So next we have, I guess you have answered it already. Like maybe he came late. Is systems design important for freshers?
Not really. Not really, but depends on the role. If you are looking for just a SWE in a fresh, in a good company, then you should know DSC and fundamentals. That's very important. System design are not expected until you apply for SRE or solution engineering role. But I mean, yeah. But if you're applying for a startup, knowing them adds a lot of values, gives more opportunities, and it's always a nice uh, skill to have for a fresher. But I would suggest don't spend much time. Focus on fundamentals, learn about data structures, algorithm, do some good project. That's more important.
Yeah. So next is by Disha Shetty. She asked, what aspects of your experience or skills do you think made you stand out and be the cherry on top for Google during the hiring process?
Uh, Maybe I can think or I can share what I believe. Okay. Uh, just yeah, I used to spend some time doing projects. So project makes me always keeps me more excited. Give me a lot of hands-on experience where there could be people who are good in GPA or who who are good in academics, right? Or they might have know some skills, but I had a lot of more uh, what do you say hands-on experience. I had built a lot of projects. I used to do a lot of freelancing. Maybe I missed in my intro, but I used to do freelancing. I used to work for a number of people. So that way, I used to do something from scratch, design something and do from scratch. That give me a lot of exposure. Even during interview, the way interviews were, interview went more than expected time, where both had a good time exploring a lot of things. So what happens is during interview, if you have enough experience or if you've done enough project, gives you more confident. So you know what you're looking for, right? Never settle for something less than what you deserve. uh, so if you think you have done all your homework, you know you did, you're good, you know all the fundamentals, you spend some more time learning, you have more experience building projects, gives a lot of confidence in your interviews. That also, if you have some good projects on your GitHub, right? Even the recruiter or interviewer also know that okay, this person is not just bluffing. He knows he did things. He also contributed to some of the open projects. That means he is passionate, right? And yeah, maybe my internship experience also added a bit more uh, values. Right? Uh, yeah, so just to summarize, I was part of a lot of communities. So I'm not kidding. Most of my interviewer used to ask, "What do you do in SOSC? What is SOSC? What do you do in GitHub? What do you do as a GitHub campus expert?" When I tell these stories or what we do, right, it used to make them feel okay. These kids are actually passionate, not just doing things for some sake. They have a passion of sharing knowledge, learning from each other. They have interest for tech. Yeah, so being part of a lot of communities, more projects, more experience of maybe freelancing my internship, right? That added a bit of value. And uh, yeah, I think what else? I think those are the main factors, I guess, which played a huge role. But yeah, there were incidents where I got some offers, but I was not fine with that, since since I felt I deserve something better. But yeah, it all, you should know your ability, you should know your worth, right? Don't settle for something less than what you deserve. I would suggest you have spend time learning what you are good at. Just be good at what you do. That's one suggestion which I would like to give. No matter what you do, if you're a designer, design well. If you want to become a software engineer, learn DSA, do more projects, uh, then give more interviews, you will crack it. If you want a SRE role, learn about system design, know about OS, DB, Unix, networking, and a bit of DSA also important. Yeah, so just learn those things. If you like content writing, write more, write blogs. If it is technical, write technical content. It can be about any topic. Like you do some research and just write a paper. So more work you do, more opportunities, more pay, and more. Yeah, I mean it makes everything much easier. If you're a designer, do more designs, make a good portfolio. Oh, this is something what I would like to highlight. Having a great portfolio is a must if you're some expecting something high. If you're a developer, if you do a lot of front end design, or if you know how to build web applications, make a portfolio. That's a minimum you can do, right? Instead of doing random projects which doesn't even add values other than your skill sets or experience. Make a nice portfolio. If you are not good at coding, you get templates, you can tweak them. So have a nice portfolio. If you're a designer, make a nice portfolio. That if you're content, any whatever you do, right? Just have a nice portfolio, and just don't go for. I would like even in my college, right? Everyone had that one thought that after graduation, I want to become a software engineer. I would. It's a bit sad. In our college, they don't educate about all the opportunities. Everyone thinks software engineering is ultimate. It's wrong. Every role has equal impact, equal potential in the industry. Uh, just see what is something what you like. Like, for example, if you like coding, continue that passion. If you like designing, continue that passion. Just be good at what you do, and just follow your interest. Because what happens is, in long term, right, you pick something just for the sake of job, and then down the line you will not be happy. uh, it becomes very hectic for you. You won't be happy even though you earn a lot, right? Later on, it's not just the money and the job, it's the mental peace what you need, which is very important. So that's why, if you like what you do, you will be at least happy or satisfied, no matter how much you gain or enjoy, how much you work for, right? And I'm pretty sure if you work on what you like to do, you will be more positive. You will see exponential growth in your career, even though you start very low. But later on, since you have that passion, you will work a bit more towards your passion, and that keeps you growing. So this I can guarantee. So, yeah.
Yeah. So we have around like 4 to 5 more questions. So yeah. So one is from Nanda Nagera. He told, is demand for app development reduced?
Uh, See, I'll tell. There are a lot of tech terms or hype comes up and goes down. When I was in engineering or final year, the crypto or blockchain was hyped up. It was everywhere. People, my batchmates used to do projects on final year projects on blockchain. But where is it now? It's still there. Crypto is also still there, but I think it's just a hype. Every year something comes up and goes down, right? But every role is important. If you are a web developer or a front end developer, or if you're a back end developer or a mobile application developer, right? Everything is important. There are opportunities. If you are very passionate about mobile applications, look for companies who hire just mobile application engineers. There are a lot of roles in startups. If you check on LinkedIn, or if you go to any career websites, right? So you will see opportunities there. And since you know what is your interest, you said mobile application. Look for the companies who has their product as a mobile application. Spotify, PayPal, Cred. Uh, yeah, I think all the major big companies have their mobile application as well. Go to their career website. Look for the opportunities. If you know that you are good at something, ask for referrals. Reach out to people. I'm pretty sure if they see your resume, if they think that okay, this person has a potential, they will give referrals no matter which company it is, right? uh, Once you get referral, it becomes a bit easier. If you don't get referral, it's totally fine, but you should apply and just prepare well. Also, one quick tip: give more mock interviews. uh, the more interviews you give, more confidence you get. It becomes much easier to crack these interviews. So mock interviews are very important. There are a lot of website, interview.io, I guess, or mockinterview.io something. There are a lot of website. If you check, they take mock interviews. Ask your seniors or batchmates to take your mock interviews. uh, so that gives you a bit of confidence. So next time you go for an interview, you will be confident. So you know how to answer a question, or how to expect the next answer. So it's a skill you should have, and everything depends from your intro. So how you give an intro starts from there. In your interview, talk about a good project. Next question will be on your project. They'll ask about the tech stack. They'll ask about the programming language. They'll ask about why did you use this, not that. That's how you lead your interview, right? So if you are very blank, you don't know how to start an interview in a good way, then they expect what should I ask, or they go through a resume, or they ask basic template questions related to computer fundamentals. So prepare well for interviews. Just give more and more interviews, becomes much easier. But yeah, back to your question. uh, there are still companies who hire for application developers. Only thing is you need to be good at what you do and look for the companies who hire. So I think that should help you.
Yeah, moving to the next question. If one has the capital to next question. Oh, sorry, I didn't mute. Okay, so if one has the capital to study abroad, should that be a priority or getting into a low or mid-paying job and work for a year or two for getting experience?
I have seen this trend in the industry. What happens is people, no matter if they have a capital or not, they work for 1 year at least or two, and then they do the master and come back. So that way, they will know the market. Okay, they'll know how things work, what people do in industry, how a company hires folks, right? And then they do masters based on the technology or any domain. Maybe it's on their interest or based on the opportunities. Then they get, as I told, once you do the masters, you get more opportunities. They give interview and then get into good companies. So that can be one good step. But if you are really sure you want to continue doing masters, there's nothing harm in that. You can go do your masters. Once you do your masters, you get more opportunities. Only thing I would suggest is during your masters as well as currently, if you're sure that you want to do masters, don't stop preparing or don't stop learning. uh, you enjoy your college days as well. I'm not stressed. Maybe I didn't speak about or maybe yeah, I just spoke about learning and trying, like learning and exploring. But again, during your college it's very important to have fun as well, because once you graduate, the world is completely different. It's hard to make friends other than your colleagues. There's again a thin layer which differentiate between a colleague and a friend, right? But yeah, there won't be people to support you, or there won't be lecturers to guide you. It's all on you. You are really leading your life. You in college, what we do is we know, okay, like there are lecturers or teachers to guide us if we do some mistake. There are friends to help. If I have a quick question, I can ask my friend or a person sitting next to me. But once you graduate, like you can ask your colleague once or twice, but you can't ask every time, like how you ask your friends, right? When they get frustrated, and there won't be people. It's just a task assigned to you, and you will be working on that. So things are very different. So have fun in your college days, but yeah, don't stop learning. Even though you are sure that you're doing masters, learn something, at least fundamentals, and then start doing some projects. When you do masters, learn something more. Just try to get as much as possible. You get to meet people as well, right? You get to meet some good professors, learn from them, and once you have a opportunity to give interview, perform really well, that lands you in a very good job. So yeah, I think this should help you.
Yeah. So next, where can we get to know about internship? Where can we get to know about internship and how to apply for it?
Okay. Uh, LinkedIn has a lot of openings for internships, but yeah, that gives a bit of you get a lot of options. Again, if you are sure, okay, I want to get internship in this particular company badly, go to careers.xyz.com or that website or that company's domain, and then search for internship, put filter. These days, if you go to any career website, right, there is an option for alert. So you can set an alert. Even in LinkedIn, you can set an alert for internship. So as soon as there are any openings for internship, you get notified. That way you don't miss any openings or you don't miss any internships. And so sometimes for internship, you start it early, like second year, third year, so you don't have much things to put on your resume. that case, it becomes a bit difficult to get an internship outside. One thing what you can do is reach out. There are a lot of companies in and around Mangalore. So Novigo, there is Nivies, there is Winman, uh, a lot of companies. Yeah. So reach out to them directly, share your resumes, tell your interest, and that way also you can get a good experience, a good internship. So only thing is, if you are good at what you do, you get everything. Yep.
Yeah. So next is, uh, I am a first year STEM student. What will be the ideal roadmap for me? Like, I am more interested in web development.
Cool. So for the folks in first year, right? This first year is just to have fun. Okay, so explore everything. Whatever you feels fancy to you, like web, front end, back end. Explore, try everything. Right. So at the end of first year, you should try everything. You should know. Okay, I have to become a web developer, or I want to become a front end developer. I want to become a full stack developer. So at the end of first year or by second year, you should know what you want to look like, or you want where you want to be. So based on that, you can start your journey. For web, right? I can give a quick overview. Start learning about HTML, which is very basic. Learn about CSS. And then if you have time, you can learn about frameworks like Tailwind, a lot of frameworks related to CSS. So this is optional. So this is optional. But yeah, after you learn CSS, learn about JavaScript, because JavaScript is heavily used in front end applications. So once you learn about JavaScript, so after you learn JavaScript, once you learn most of the important concepts, you get to choose two paths. So you can start with Angular, which is a complete framework by Google. Or if you want to start learning React, which is a library, not a framework. There's a huge difference between a framework and a library. So React is a library, uh, which is again by Facebook. So if you want to start again, Angular is a framework which has literally everything. It takes a lot of time to learn because the learning curve is huge. In case if you're looking for React library, once you learn React library, it's just a library. You need to learn about any framework. So then it comes next Vue or a Nest. So there are a lot of options. You can learn about that. So this is a bit of overview when I tell about tech stack. And then for a web developer, it's important to know about networking, how a request is made, how a client applications fetch when you go for www.google.com, right? How things work internally under the hood. So that is important to understand. To build a very efficient or a very good web application, you should know these things. You should know about OS a bit. You should know about networking layers, and then there are a lot of advanced concepts like webhooks, uh, types of API request. There is HTTP, there is gRPC, and there is sockets. Uh, and I think I missed some other one. There's one more. So you can check out these things, how which one to use, where, explore. So yeah, this should be the one. But I have if you go to this particular website, right, it's an open source repo where it has roadmap for literally everything. So if you go for roadmap.sh, it has all the roadmap. So you can go through that, follow that. It's good. Yeah, I think that should help you.
Yeah. So next we have Vainanda Nagar again. At what time or period we get hired in Mang companies? After working 2-3 years in small companies, or we get hired directly?
Um, Again, it all depends, right? There are people after graduation they get into big man companies, including me, right? Whereas there are people who work for a small scale companies, startups, and then join big companies. I know a lot of people who did that as well. Uh, Only reason being, it doesn't mean that all the people who work in like startups are getting hired by big companies, right? It's all the individual putting efforts to learn and where they want to see after a few years. Best part is if you work for a startup for 2 years or 1 year, as I mentioned, you will know end to end how that startup works. You know, you are not just working on one particular feature, you are working on an entire project. Your team is very small. You will directly talk to CTO, CEOs, tech leads, team leads, and everyone, right? You work in a very smaller team. You know your product very well. You grow along with the product. For example, you join a startup and you get to learn a lot from end to end. Even if you're a software engineer, for example, you will also know about deployment, which will give you a bit more knowledge on DevOps as well, how the migration works, a bit of database side, so that gives the data engineering concepts. And you write your own documentation, which helps you to write technical documentation. You write your own test cases, which gives the skills of test engineers, right? Uh, so this happens in startups. Whereas if you join a big company, maybe a service-based company, you will be just selected as a tester, or you'll be just selected as a DevOps, or you'll be just selected as a software engineer, and your responsibility comes very narrow down. So you'll just code, or you'll just look after DevOps, or you just write something, right? Uh, yeah, if you work in a small scale company, you will learn a lot in a very small period, so that you can give interview to big companies and get selected easily. Only thing is, just being part of this small company won't help you to land a big job. There are a lot of hard work, efforts, consistency which is required. But that being said, the whole thing becomes a bit easier since you get exposed to a lot of tech in a small scale company. Still, if you are really good, you started your preparation very early, you are working hard, you have been applying for a lot of companies, you have some good internship, you will still get selected directly for a big tech company as well.
Yeah. So the next question is by Rishabh. Have you contributed in GSOC? If yes, do you have any suggestions on how to go on with it?
Uh, Honestly, I was not. I think I applied 1 year when I was, think second year or third year. I'm not sure. Second year, I guess, for GSOC, but I was not able to go through. It's a really good program, Google Summer of Code by Google, where you get to work on real world projects. You get paid really well, but only thing is the difficulty level is too high. That doesn't mean it should stop you from preparation. Nothing like that. If I'm not wrong, no one from our college cracked GSOC till date. So if you put efforts, you will be the first one who will do that. But yeah, it's a really good program to learn, work like an internship on an open source project and still get paid. Once you have GSOC on your resume, you get a really good opportunities. But if you are not able to go through GSOC, there are alternate programs as well. Whereas GitHub has their own program. Uh, I forgot the name, but MLH has a program similar to that. Uh, Maybe I can just quickly check for that. Getting the name. MLH Fellowship is a program from MLH where you work on open source projects and you get paid really hefty. So the pay is really high, and even GitHub has a program similar to that. Not sure what is it called, but yeah, I'm aware of that. Maybe Divish or someone, if you are aware. So anyways, I'll share the details later. But yeah, if you are not able to go through GSOC, apply for MLS fellowship. It happens every quarter or every quarter, and there are 3 programs right now. Keep checking for the applications, keep applying. Once you get through MLH, the pay is really good. It adds a lot of values on your resume. And for these, if you have some open source contribution already, that adds a lot of plus. For example, if you are already contributing to some of the open source project, right, and you know how things work, so that means through the MLH application processing or screening, they take your interviews or you get selected or shortlisted. So don't wait for GSOC to start open source contribution. Start open source contributions, and then once you have enough contribution, you can easily crack the interview and get the opportunity.
Yeah, I guess you mean octantship for GitHub, right?
Yeah, octantship. Yes. That's what I mean.
Yeah. Yes. So another question we have from Srujan Rai, like which mechanical keyboard you are using?
Oh, I just bought a Keychron K6 with red switch, brown switches. So that's a mechanical keyboard. I am a bit more into gadgets, so I spend some money on my gadgets. I have another mechanical which is in my office, but that is also from Keychron. So I like Keychron keyboards a lot. But that one is a blue switch. This is red switch. Yeah. Oh, sorry. This is brown switch. That is blue switch.
Yeah. So we want to ask on the cost of that.
Cost, and I think it's out of stock. But yeah, I can say it.
Yeah. So like another question we had here, the team which is sitting here streaming this, like if we want to, like, for example, now okay.
Yeah.
Continue. So once you get into the company, like we get some 2-3 years of experience. Now, if we want to switch to other company, do we have to learn DSA and like appear DSA rounds again, or it's directly interview kind of thing?
So if you are talking about software engineering role, yeah, you will need a DSA. So that's what DSA is not something you just need just out of college. You should have. So I'll tell why DSA was introduced. Even I had the same question. I asked a lot of people why DSA. Like, I know to build project. Why can't you just hire me, right? What happens is DSA is again, it's all about how you solve a problem. If you are using a best method, right? That means even when you write a application, when you write code for an application, you write the best code. And even a small milliseconds in a production helps reduce time and money. You might have seen like someone writing or saving some percentage of time or latency, which increase the profit, right? So that way, even a milliseconds are very important when it comes to our production scale applications. That's why they have DSA. But yeah, if you're applying for any companies internally again, it depends. If you're applying from different role to different, like from SRE role to software engineering, you will have to give a DSA round interview 1 or 2, depends. Or any other roles, right? Or if you want to give an interview from software engineering to SRE, you will have to give interview for OS or system design interviews, sort of that. Every role has their own criteria. So if you're switching from same role to same role from different companies, like software engineering from company A to software engineering company B, then you will have to give 1 or 2 rounds of interview, like DSA related interview. But again, just to add something, for senior software engineering 2 and above that, you should have system design, which is mandatory.
Okay, that's some sad news.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we have a question from Nandan. How can we join the community like GDSC or MLSA ambassador program?
Uh, just keep an eye. Just keep an eye on the application. If you are active in LinkedIn, you get notified. People might post that the applications are open. If not, just keep going, checking the website. Or the simple thing is just follow their social media applications. When they're hiring or when they're uh, rolling out the forms, you will get notified. You'll get the notification. Apply, write really well, perform well on your interviews, and then you get hired. So when you join the program, yeah, so pretty straightforward.
Yeah, I guess all of the questions are over in the chat.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, that being said, Mhm.
Yeah. Like any tips you want to give to the juniors,
just
like who are just appearing now?
so folks in first year, just explore, have fun in college, uh, explore everything, whatever domain you want, and end of first year, second year, you should know what role you are looking for or what your interest. And once you find out the interest, second year, just start learning about that, and do a bit of DSA, because any technical role you're looking for, DSA is very important. And once you start doing DSA, start solving questions from second year, third year, or if you are into different domains, start doing what is required to get into a good company. Third year also do the same, or start doing internship from early third year. Don't wait for final year. If you get an internship, you can do it virtually also these days. Get some more experience. Final year is just about placements, or pre-final year, end of pre-final year, you start looking for placements. Sooner the better, right? So if you get an offer very early in your final year, rest of the final year is just to have fun. Okay. If you are not able to get till the end of the final year, the whole final year will be just preparation, giving interviews, and you will not get much time to have fun. So I would suggest start the preparation early, get offer early, or do the internship early, get the offer early, and enjoy rest of your college. But that being said, all the 4 years you need to enjoy. Do some what do you say homework every day. Spend half an hour to 1 hour learning something at least, and weekends have fun, party, do whatever you want. And yeah, this is about the college. So if you're looking for what do you say interview, or if you're in final year or pre-final year, have a good resume which is in ATS format. If you're looking for off campus, get referrals. If you're looking for off campus, have a good LinkedIn profile. Add all the certifications, all the skills you have, all the projects you have. Because when you go for off campus, recruiter or hiring managers, they don't know you, right? You might be good in college, people talk about you, you're good at what you do, but outside folks don't know you, right? Only thing is you should have a good visibility as well. You should showcase what you do. You should have a skill to pitch your project. This is a very important skill. I think Adib might have touched a bit on this, but you should know how to pitch. You should have marketing skills. If you know how to sell your project, that means you get offer. Once you have these skills, you do. The interview becomes very easy. Try doing a lot of mock interviews. Try giving a lot of mock interviews. Once you do that, it becomes much easier to crack. And if you're looking for any role, whatever on your interest, right? I would, as I suggested, based on interest, find the role. Check, do some market research. Okay, I'm good at design. I need to, like Adib said, he wants to get into Adobe. He knew that very early as well. What I suggested is just go to Adobe, keep applying. If you heard about senior Jihad, who was a designer, from first year, he used to apply for Canva. He used to spam. Okay, I wouldn't suggest to spam, but keep applying. It's fine. And guess what? He got an internship in Canva when he was in second year or third year. He was good at design. He wanted that. He came to final year. He got a technical software engineering role. through placements. He was not happy. He went off campus. He got a design related role. He took that. He started a bit less. Now he's earning good, really good, more than what software engineers straight out of college earns, right? Almost double of that. So that's what. Just be good at what you do is one suggestion what I want to tell everyone. And so if you're looking for any technical roles off campus after LinkedIn, have a great portfolio. Like even if it's a very basic, it's fine. Try to put all the information, mention about your project, tech stack, links on your resume as well, like the link to the GitHub. Upload all the projects on your GitHub. Keep your GitHub very active. Do some contributions here and there, which shows you are interested. And currently in the market, there are some fields which are hyping up. If you're in third year, final year, so that means that hype will still be there. If you want to get into AI, there are a lot of courses from Google as well. Or if you want to go for any other courses, there are a lot of courses related to AI ML. Learn them. There's a lot of opportunities coming in. Pay is really good. So you can learn about that. Cloud is something very, it's like a future. No matter what, how many decades or years, cloud is the ultimate, I would say, or hybrid cloud, they would say. Yeah. What happens is companies can't handle the amount of data they generate. They can't have their on-prem servers. They're reaching the extent of the like maximum of these on-prem. Because on-prem servers has to be taken care, has to get 24/7 attention, electricity, cooling, disaster recovery, everything takes a lot of resource, energy, and time. So what companies do is they spend the same money on cloud, and then everything is taken by cloud providers. So learning cloud is a good skill. If you have that, getting into companies becomes much easier. You can learn about any cloud, AWS, Azure, Google Cloud. If you're part of Google Developer Student Club, or if you're part of Microsoft Learn Student Ambassador, you get access to some Google, like you'll get some credits using which you can get hands-on, you can complete courses, you get certifications as well. So other than that, data engineering is something what you can focus on. I'm just giving some tips, I could say. There'll be a lot of things coming up in future. AML is completely dependent on data. How do you train the model, right? With the data. So a lot of companies generate the data, but they don't know how to handle the data, how to store the data. So that's where data engineering, data analytics, database engineers, a lot of opportunities, a lot of roles, which is something different from what all software engineers do, right? Or any role which is just hyped up. So see for this role as well. Look for opportunities, keep applying. Along with that, you get some certifications on cloud or any particular AML could be. Get some certifications done. It's gonna add some values, but don't just do certification just to add it on your resume. Certification or courses has to be done to learn something, and what you get to learn is very less. Okay. Once you get a certification, do some projects. If I tell I'm a cloud architect or a data engineer, right? I did courses on cloud. Have I used cloud? Did I do something with cloud? Or, for example, okay, let's take about data engineering. I did some certification on data engineering, but have I did something related? Did I work on any projects? Did I do some internship related to data engineering? If yes, then yeah, the recruiters think that okay, certifications added value to me. If I do some 100 certifications without any projects, no use. No one checks your certifications unless you did something. So yeah, I think those two are the important things. So reach out to people, reach out to SOSC folks. I'm pretty sure they will be happy to help you. If not, reach out to seniors who are in good tech companies. Reach out to me if you need any help. I might not reply as soon as possible, but you can always reach out to me to LinkedIn. You can just go through swos.dev/LinkedIn. I'm just dropping the link so you can use that. Reach out to me. Need any help? Reach out to any seniors, right? I'm pretty sure if you tell you are from our college and you are looking for some great opportunities, if you are doing really well, we all are happy to give referrals. Uh, that way, it becomes much easier for you to get into companies, right? Once again. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. So keep applying. Just do the good what you do. That's all. I was telling about the referral thing, right? If you are good at what you do, reach out to people, and we should be happy to give referrals.
Yeah. And Srijan Rai again commented, your keyboard sound is very satisfying.
That's why I pay.
Yeah. 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 So one last question we have, then we'll go for the next session. Pranit asked, as Google started hiring for TSE roles.
Oh, okay. Easy asking. If you see, there are some roles, but we are majorly looking for seniors. There is an opportunity in Kubernetes, which is part of infra. I wouldn't stop you from applying. If you are interested, you can apply. You can reach out to me directly. I can tell a bit more about the role if you are interested. And then there is opening in serverless platform where they're looking for someone who is aware of serverless things. I think there is also opening in networking. I didn't talk about much related to networking, but networking is also very nice skill. If you want to get into network engineer, if you want to become a network engineer, Cisco is a really good company. I mean, I wouldn't say I'm not supposed to say this, but trust me, it's really good. A lot of Googlers who are in networking term are from Cisco. Cisco has a lot of good CCNE networking related certifications. If you have that, getting a job related to networking is very high. And networking is forever. Without networking, nothing works, right? You know the market, so just keep applying. And yeah, that's why I would suggest you to explore, see what you like, and then just do the work.
Yeah. So I guess we are done for the day. There are no more questions left in the chat.
That's cool. Any more? If you have any questions, you can reach out to SOSC folks or you can reach out to me. Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you very much, Swastik, for taking your time. And okay, one important question.
Don't
you should guess the name. You should guess the name who asked it. Okay. How can I get into Google?
I mean, this I can't guess who. Maybe from SOSC or
yeah. Powers.
Bro, first meet me in Bangalore. But yeah, just do the great work. You already work in a very good company, Deloitte, Big Four company. What else you need? Just keep doing what you do and keep applying. Yeah, I think that should help you.
Yeah, that should wrap it up. So yeah, thank you very much, Swastik. Like you had some meeting as well, right, today?
If you have noticed, I was checking here as well. I am on call. There's a particular event, so it's a tier 1 on call. If something breaks, then I get paged. So I need to go on.
Yeah. Yes.
But luckily, nothing broke till now, and I hope for
yes. True. So yeah, thank you very much for coming as a speaker for DevHost 2023. We'll see whether we can meet offline in 2024 DevHost.
Yeah, sure.
Spoilers. Yeah.
I would be happy to meet everyone, especially people from SOSC, right? Maybe this year, and if you folks are in college, I'll be happy to meet in person, talk.
Yes.
And I am pretty sure a lot of people even Fawaz and his batchmates are in town. Maybe we can have a quick sync in college or outside. A few folks.
Yeah.
Yeah. That we get, and thanks for having me here, giving me an opportunity to share my experience. And it was great again. Thanks everyone, and all the best
Yes.
for your future.
Yes, thank you very much, and all the best to you too for your future projects and the meeting right now. Hope nothing breaks. Yeah,
Really.
yeah.
Good.
So
Thank
yeah,
you.
bye bye. Yes, bye bye. So yeah, all the people tuned in, please wait for the next session. We'll be starting in around 5 minutes, and it will be about promising with JavaScript. It will be done by me, Devi Shetty. So yeah, just wait for 5 minutes till we do the setup. The link is the same. Yeah. So hello everyone. So today this is the last talk up for DevHost 2023, and I am Devi Shetty. I will be taking this talk, and this is on promising with JavaScript. So yeah, in this will be a short talk, maybe about one hour. You can ask if you have any queries. You can ask regarding your like any JavaScript or any front end development. So basically, I'm a front end developer, and currently I'm exploring DevOps and cloud. So I have more experience in front end. So you can ask questions with that, React.js, Next.js, anything. So yeah, so promising with JavaScript for DevOps 2023. So let's go to the next slide. Okay. Yeah. So first of all, what is JavaScript? Many people here may be new to the term JavaScript. So JavaScript is a high-level language. High-level language in the sense like you can easily understand it, and you don't have to understand in a machine-level way. You can easily learn it like English, and you can write programs or in that. Okay, and then it is an interpreted language, which means it is done like line by line. There's a concept called as interpreter. So it is an interpreted language. Then the main thing, JavaScript is synchronous, blocking, and single-threaded. So now we may ask, here it says JavaScript is synchronous, but my session is about asynchronous JavaScript. How can it make sense? So yeah, as we move forward, it will make sense like how asynchronous JavaScript it is, like how JavaScript works asynchronously in the background. Synchronous means, so if I give you in a layman terms, synchronous means everything will execute one after the other. For example, there is line 1, line 2, line 3 till line 100. So it will go like that only. First line 1 will get executed, then line 2, line 3, line 4, then at the end line 100. There will be no randomness. Okay, which means synchronous. It goes step by step, one after another. Then blocking. Blocking means, for example, just imagine a situation. I have 100 lines of program in which I am executing from top to bottom. So first it starts from line 1. Then imagine at line 10, there's a very complex logic which will take around 5 seconds to just execute. So what will happen when it comes from line 1 till 10, it will execute fast. Then at line 10, it will stop for 5 seconds because that line 10 is taking a long time. In that 5 seconds, the code which is below line 10 also won't get executed. Imagine the code below from line 11 till line 100 just executes in 1 second. But because of that line 10, which takes 5 seconds, the code has to wait 5 more seconds. So that means it is blocking the execution of the further code. So that's the problem which arises in synchronous. Okay. So for that, we will be using asynchronous technique so that, yeah, I will tell about it more. So what happens? So now the line 10 is executed for after 5 seconds. Then other lines are executed in 1 second. So the total time will taken for executing the program is around 6 to 7 seconds. Just imagine like that. Then single threaded. So if you have learned threading in like OOPS or something in your previous sems, so JavaScript is a single thread so that it can execute only one instruction at a time. Okay. So that's about like JavaScript in a very overview, like the tip of the iceberg. Then another question which many people ask is JavaScript same as Java? Okay. So let's see one analogy. So well, Java and JavaScript are like car and carpenter. So which means like Java and JavaScript just sound similar, but they are completely different. Java is mainly used for maybe like backend kind of thing or any mobile app development, anything like JavaScript is for client-side rendering, server-side rendering, scripting, or any other work. It can also do app development also, that's different. So they are completely different languages in their own. So yeah, don't get confused with that. So yeah, so there is a meme here, like, yeah, so many people wish like there was multi-threading in JavaScript just to avoid all those. So like there are 3 rules: no wishing for death, no falling in love, and no bring back dead people. Then he asks like in JavaScript, which is not possible. I don't know why the devs are not doing that. Maybe it's complex. So yeah, but still now asynchronous behavior helps us even with the single thread. Okay. So yeah, before going into the asynchronous part, let's learn something called as a callback function. Okay, it's a callback function. A callback function is basically a function which is passed as an argument to another function. Okay, so that it will be executed after a certain event. Maybe it may be a click event or a mouse move event or anything, or any asynchronous operation. Maybe you are fetching data from the server, or you are fetching data from somewhere. Okay, so after that, that function will get executed. Okay, so that is about callback. So callback, for example, just where I can show you one example. Wait a minute, let me share my screen once. One second, I will share the screen to different tab. Yeah, so yeah, it is back. So I will show you one example for callback. So if you can see here, I have one pre-written example for callbacks. Okay. So here we have a function called greet. It takes 2 arguments. Yeah, I guess now it is visible. Okay, it takes 2 arguments, event name and callback. So the event name is just a string which you are passing here. See, we have called a greet function here. I hope you know a little bit of JavaScript because this is little on the top of the side of the JavaScript thing. So yeah, so here we are passing string, this thing, DevHost 2023, a string as an argument to the greet function, which will be replaced by event name. Then we have another function called display greeting. So now if you see, this is already a function and we are passing another function in it. Okay, so we are passing a function inside a function. So this is basically a callback function. So we have named it as callback. You can name it as anything. You can name it your name as well. It doesn't matter. Okay, so I have written here as callback. Okay, so then this function, first this function is called, so this will get executed. So a message, this will get updated as welcome to this event name. This will replace by this DevHost 2023. And this message is passed to the callback function. Okay, so this callback function is now called. Okay, so this is basically this function, display greeting. So this function will be called, and what it will do, it will just console log the message which we did here. I know this program doesn't make sense. Like this is just a simple example to show the what you call the callback. Okay, but in future examples you can see more like usage of callback functions. So I will run this. Okay, yeah, you can see here. I'll run again. 1 second. It is here. Welcome to DevHost 2023. You can see here. So what happened? Here the greeting was, event name was passed here to like by DevHost 2023, and here I can change it to anything. I can name it as DevHost 2024 also. It's same thing. See. Okay. So this is now, what is the use of this? Okay, I can show you now. Example, I have another function. What it will do, this will be display greeting. I will name it as modified. Okay, then I will have a new message, const message equal to same message, same greeting I will have, greeting. Then I will append some string by SOSC. Okay, now I will console log this. Now, instead of passing this function, I will pass this function. Okay. Now, if I run, see, I will get welcome to DevHost 2024 by SOSC. This has been added because I changed the callback function which was getting passed to this main function. And another thing, a function which either takes a function as an argument or returns a function is called as a higher order function. So your greet is a higher order function. You will be using this in React. So yeah, just a thing to know. So this is about callback, just a brief example about callbacks. Okay, So callback, they seem pretty simple, but it can get messy as we proceed. So there's a concept called as callback hell. So what is the thing here? One callback we are doing. So imagine it is getting data from the server, and this is the data which you got from the server. Now we are passing it to another function called process data. Process data takes the data, and again it returns, like it takes another argument, which is the process data this thing content which it has. So then it is passed to update UI. Update UI again has a what you call callback with no arguments. Then it goes to fetch more data. Like once the UI is updated, it fetches more data. Once it fetches more data, it again processes the data. Same thing. Now once it processes the data, it again updates the UI. See, it is really difficult to understand. Like even I get confused whenever I read this. So this was the problem which people are facing with callbacks, called as callback hell. So imagine something goes wrong here. It's very difficult to debug where it went wrong. You have to put console log everywhere. Then only you will get to know which function like stopped working. Or if you want to change something, you have to change everything. Now imagine if I want to remove this update UI from here. I don't want to update the UI after processing. I want to update it at the end. Now to remove this, I have to remove this entire line, then the content, then again this thing closing a parenthesis of this. So that's again a lot of work. Okay, so this is a callback hell. The main problem is you can't understand the code. Like it's really difficult to even analyze it and debug it. So how to overcome this? To overcome this, we have promises. So promise is basically a proxy for the value which we are getting. Okay. So a promise is a JavaScript object that represents the eventual completion or failure of an asynchronous operation and its resulting value. So object is just a proxy value, whether it tells like if the object fails, like the conditions or the fetching which we are doing, whether it fails or completes, value based on that. It's an asynchronous operation. See, asynchronous operation. So now how this asynchronous operation is going on, I will let you know in this future slides. So this is the thing. And next for promises, if you see, there are 3 states. I will show you in code also, don't worry. So one is pending, which means I have like sent a request. It is still either it's not rejected yet and it's not fulfilled yet. It's still in a pending state. So it's like I can give you an analogy like imagine you sent your resume to your company. So now you are waiting till the company either accepts or rejects it. So it's in the pending state. Next is fulfilled. So now if the company accepts you, then the promise is fulfilled. Okay. Then if the company rejects you, the promise is rejected. So those are the basic 3 states, like pending, fulfilled, which is received, or rejected. Okay. So yeah, with this next, so we'll dive into a little code here. So this is just a simple promise example which I took. Okay. So this is how you create a new promise. I won't like go into more implementation part. It's just a talk on telling like how asynchronous JavaScript work and how you can utilize promises and other things. Okay. So this is the name of the promise, my promise. New promise, it's a constructor. So you're having a new object of that new promise. It takes a callback. See, this is a callback function. I guess you can see my mouse pointer. So this is a callback function. It takes 2 parameters, resolve or reject, which we discussed here. So resolved will be used when the promise is fulfilled. Reject will be used when the promise is rejected. Okay. So resolve or reject. So now here will be some asynchronous operation. It can be fetching data from database or either calling an API or doing some asynchronous task or anything. Okay. So imagine I called an API. Then API gave me success response. So if it is success, I will resolve the promise, which means the promise is fulfilled. I got a success response from the API. So it will fulfill the promise with the result. Else, if it is not successful, it will reject it. Okay. Reject the promise with an error. So I will go into that code. I guess you can see my VS Code screen. Okay, so promise example. So this is a small example which I took for promise. Okay. So this is a function which is called fetch data. Okay. And in fetch data, we are returning a new promise. The same thing, the same syntax which I showed here. instead of using a variable, we are just returning it here. Okay, it does the same thing. So new promise, resolve or reject. You can name it res or reg, anything you want, but this is the standard, resolve or reject. Okay. So after this, we will be using set timeout. Set timeout, I will tell about it more. So what basically set timeout does is, just to tell you overview, it will now see, this is set timeout. I will show you the syntax. So set timeout syntax is like this. Set timeout. And okay, this is the simple set timeout syntax. So here, this is a callback function, a simple callback function. Okay, here the code will be executed which under the set timeout, and this 2000 means after 2000 milliseconds, in the sense 2000 seconds, after 2000 milliseconds, this set timeout code will be executed. Okay, so now this code which I have written here won't execute as soon as I run the code. It will execute after 2000 milliseconds, that is after 2 seconds. So there is same thing called as set interval as well. Okay, set interval. Same thing which I wrote, just I renamed it to set interval. So again, it takes a callback function, any code which will be inside it. Then it will take again the timer, and this time set interval means this code will run every 2 seconds. So once, imagine I have one thing called as console log hello world. So what will happen? Every 2 seconds, this thing will get printed. Okay, console log will get printed every 2 seconds. And in set timeout, what happens? .log. After 2 seconds, like once I execute the program, after 2 seconds, this will get printed. What will this do? It will print every 2 seconds. Every 2 seconds. After 2 seconds. So yeah, so we'll come back to the promise thing. So this is a set timeout. Inside this, we'll have one success variable. And just to have some randomness, we took a random value, math.random, and we are checking whether it's greater than 0.5 or less than 0.5. So what math.random does is, it will give you a random number between 0 to 1. It can be 0.3, 0.56, 3791, anything. Okay. So it will return you a number from 0 to 1, and we are comparing whether it's greater than 0.5 or not. So for instance, if the number is greater than 0.5, this will return true. So imagine if the number is 0.7569, so then this is greater than 0.5, which means the success will be true. If the success is true, this will get returned. I am having the data as data fetched successfully, and I am resolving this. Okay, I'm resolving. So I'm telling it is a success. So resolve the promise, like fulfill the promise. Okay. So now imagine if the number was something like 135641 something, it is less than 0.5, which means it is not success. It is false. So this will fail. It will come to the else statement. It will create a new error. I am defining a new error here, and it will reject that error with this message, fail to fetch data. Okay. So this is the thing about defining a promise. Now, once we have defined the promise, you have to run it, like you have to execute it. Like this is just telling you how to fetch data. This won't give you the data directly. So for that, you have to do some this functions. So what it will do is, so now since it is written inside a function, fetch data, I have to call that function. Okay, now this will return me a promise. Okay, so it's a promise. I can have two methods here, .then or .catch. .then is used if the promise for the success state. Okay, if it is resolved, like imagine now it is resolved, then .then defines what to do if the promise is resolved. Okay, and .catch defines what to do if the promise is rejected or if it throws some error. Okay, so that it does. So fetch data will return a promise. So if the promise is resolved, then dot then will get executed. If it is rejected, then dot catch will get executed. So we'll try this. We'll try to run the code. Clear the terminal. Okay, I will run the code here. And I can run directly. See, it is waiting for 2 seconds because of the set timeout. See, data received, which means the number was greater than 0.5. Now, if I run this again, see error, which means the data was like less than 0.5. That I added just for some randomness, so I may get error again. See, because it is just pure random numbers. So this is how you can do with promise. I know like you won't understand this with this coding example. So I have one analogy for that. Okay. So an analogy. So this is very simple. You try to understand and relate to this. Okay. So just think you and your friend are in a room, like you are in a PG. So your friend you want to have a breakfast. So you tell your friend, you go outside and get me dosa. Okay. So your friend does a promise that he will go outside to the street and he will get you dosa. You can take anything if you don't like dosa. So you go outside and get me a dosa. So he promises you that. Okay. So now, since he went out, he won't get back instantly, right? You have to wait a little. So that's the delay. So imagine your friend went away and it took like around him some 5 minutes to get to the restaurant. So you will be waiting for 5 minutes till your friend call back. Okay. So now what did you tell your friend is like you just go to the restaurant and ask whether they have dosa or not. If they have dosa, tell me, I will set up the table. Okay, so that we can eat. If they don't have dosa, you just tell me you didn't get dosa and tell me I will cook idli. Okay, so that's the simple thing. So I will explain that again. So imagine you are a friend want to have breakfast. So you send your friend to a restaurant and he promises you that he will go to the restaurant and check whether there is dosa or not. And he will call you back asking the manager or someone. So once he goes there, around after 5 minutes, he calls you. Okay. And you told him if the dosa he calls you like the dosa is there, which means it is resolved basically. So the promise which he told, he did it, like he brought the dosa. So you set up the table or set up the plates. Okay. Then if he goes and if he doesn't find dosa, then he will tell you he couldn't get it. So what you will do, you will find an alternative and you start cooking for idli. So that's a basic analogy which I can give here. And we can do it in code as well. Okay. So here, if you see the same thing, the same analogy here, I wrote it in code. Okay. So if you see, it's the same syntax here. New promise. Here I am creating a new promise. Get dosa. So it will be either resolved or rejected, this thing. So it will be like it takes 2 parameters, resolve, reject. So now I have put a set timeout because your friend will take some time to go there and tell you whether it's ready, it's there or not. Okay. So imagine he calls after 2 minutes. This is like 1,20,000 milliseconds. So in 1,20,000 milliseconds, he will tell you like whether dosa can be done or not. So now So now we will have one variable called whether he got dosa. Oh, here is a mistake. I forgot to declare the variable type. We'll just change that. Here it should be constant. Okay. Okay. So whether he got dosa, this is a variable, Boolean variable. Now we are doing the same thing. We are finding a random number and checking whether it's greater than 0.5 or less, not. So just to have some randomness so that we can like sometimes he will get dosa, sometimes he won't get dosa. Okay. So now just imagine he went there and he got dosa. Okay. So now he will resolve. He will call you back and tell I got the dosa from the restaurant. Success true. This is just for the APIs thing. Like if you create API, it's better to mention success true. Now I just mentioned for a good practice. Okay. So resolve, this actually not needed, but so resolve and it tells message that I got the dosa from the restaurant. Okay. So now what will happen when this executes? It will go to the then because it was resolved. It goes to the then. Okay. So here it does console log the message which I sent here. Data is basically this thing. Whatever the content is there inside the solve, it will be passed here. And from that, I am taking the message key. So data dot message. So it's a little JavaScript. So what we'll do once you get to this, so I will set up the table. Okay, that is the sequence, like consequence after that. Then imagine this is false. What will happen? It goes to else. So else he calls you and tells I didn't get dosa. So what happens? It will, since it is a reject, it will go to the catch statement. So in catch statement, he will get a, like you will display an error, console.error. You can also do console.log. But what console.error does, it will show you in red color if it is in browser. Okay. So same error, since the data we passed here is error. See the parameter in callback, it's error. So error dot message. So what will the sequence of so I will go quickly. Since he didn't get those. So this is the simple analogy. I tried my best to explain it. So we'll do here this. We'll try to run this. Okay. If I run this, I have one time as 1 second here. If I take 2 minutes, you guys have to 2 minutes to get executed. Okay. He told I didn't get those. So I will book for a day. Okay. So now if I go up, again if I try, say because it's random numbers. See, here it goes, we got it. So I will set up the table. So basically just remember what to remember in promises. So if the promise is resolved, it will go to the then statement. Okay. If it is rejected, it will go to the catch statement. Okay. So now this is like how it got resolved. It just to give you more context. Okay. So now it tells, okay, I got dosa, that's why this is resolved. Else it tells I didn't get dosa, so the promise is rejected. Tells more about it. You can have multiple then statements also. There are sometimes in APIs like you have to have multiple then statements because there will be promise after promise. It's called promise chaining. Okay. So that's this thing. So next here, this is just what should we do when it gets resolved? What should we do when it gets error? So now I can do instead of idli, I can do something else. I can do chapati. It's same thing. See? So this is a simple analogy. I hope you all understood it. The analogy from this. If you have any questions regarding this analogy, I can explain it back. Just put it in the chat box in YouTube. I am seeing that. Okay. Or my team will let me know. So yeah, moving ahead. So you may say, find this familiar, right? This is the same example which we took for callback help. Okay. So this same example is written in promises now. So now we see how easy it is to read. So now I am getting data from server. What to do after getting data from server? Then what to do? Take the data and process the data. After processing the data, then take the processed data and update the UI with the processed data. After the processed data process is done, then fetch more data. Then taking those data, again process the data. Again, then update the UI. So if anything goes wrong here, just catch. A single catch is enough for all the then statements. Okay. Because if anyone throws the error, it will be catched here. So it will show just an error occurred. So this is how it is when you compare the callback hell, which you see here, with promises. So here I can remove one step easily. I can just crop out this and it will, like if it is configured like it will anything, it will be better. It will work fine. Okay. No need to like manage all the things, check whether everything works like correct or not, all the brackets are missing or not. As simple it can be. Okay, this is what promise. After promise, there's also another concept called async await. Okay. So this async await, async function does this. Async function, async keyword which you put in front of a function. So a function is value, if you know. So what async function does, it will return a promise instead of returning a value. Okay, I can show you here. I have an example, I guess. So what it will does, it will return me a promise. So this promise, and since it is asynchronous, you know, like this will take time. So this is an API, like a publicly available API, which I got from the internet. You can also use this. So this fetching of data will not be instantaneous. Okay, I can show you. Imagine I remove the await keyword here. I will get an error or it will throw something. See, response to JSON is not a function. If I comment it out, it will throw me an error. See, data is not defined because, no, not data. If I console log response, see, I'm getting promise as pending, which means this function is returning me a promise. If I do await response, see, it's a completely different story here. I got the response from the API, but it is full, like it tells me the headers, the body, the everything, all the metadata, everything about the API call. Okay, so this, that's why we use await keyword. Await just tells, don't execute the next line or just stop the process, like the execution, like hold it till this returns something. Like if it is in pending, don't move ahead. If it is like rejected or resolved, then only go to the next step. So it tells to await, and this await can only be used under async function. If I remove this async, it will throw me an error. See, await is only valid in async function and the top level of bodies of modules. That's different. Like if you are using a module JavaScript, you can use at top level as well. See, it only VS Code also tells me await expression are only allowed within async functions. Okay, so here it is async function, and I will console log the data. Okay, now if I run this, see, I got some data here, which is from this API. It is iPhone 9 and Apple something. So this is just the API which someone created. I can change the number here. I can make it 5. I should get some different product. Say I got some Huawei P30. So this is fetching the API. So what is happening here? Since it's an async function, it will return a promise. It knows. So now this data is getting fetched, and this await keyword is telling, don't execute the next line till it returns something. Now imagine it returned success, which I showed you. This response it will return this, which means it is success. Here it should see status text okay, which means it responds 200. There's something called as HTTP quotes. So if it returns 200, then we are good to go. See, status 200, which means the promise is resolved. It is automatically understood. Okay. So once it is fetched, now this will go to next line. This response, I am converting to JSON. Now, if you see, I just sent response here. It is not that like understandable. It's not that easy to understand. So I'm converting it to JSON. I can show you by console logging both. Well, console log response as well as data. Okay, this is an easy way to console log. See, this is the response which I got. And this is the data which was taken by the response by converting it to JSON. So that's why we convert it to JSON, so that it can be easy to like get something from it. For example, if I want just to get the title, so I can do data.title. See, as simple as it is. Here I can do 8. I am getting something else. So this is how you use async await instead of promises. Okay. So async await is used mostly because it is more easy to read. So I can just tell this async function, wait till this data is fetched. After this data is fetched, wait till it's converted into JSON. because this is not instantaneous. When the data is converted to JSON, it will take some time. See, now if I just console log data, I'm just getting again pending because this is again asynchronous function. So I have to put await. Okay, see, if you don't know whether its function is asynchronous or synchronous, just hover over it. You can see it returns promise. It returns promise. This is basically TypeScript. If it's a colon and after that it's something, then it basically tells what it returns. Okay, here it returns promise. So you have to put the await keyword. So if you go to data, data is any. Now if I remove this should be a promise. See, if I put await keyword, now data is any. It can be any data type. So now if I remove the await keyword, the data is promise. That's why what I got here, promise pending state. Okay. Now let's try to reject this. I will remove the S from here. I should get an error. See, type error, fetch date, fetch failed. Error fetching data. This, see, since it was an error here, it got cached here. The error was thrown from here. If you know the try catch concept, the error was thrown from here. It got caught here. So here it console logs error fetching the data and it tells what was the error. See, error fetching data, then it shows type error, fetch failed. Okay. So yeah, this is regarding async await. So I will just get back to that. So now it's correct, working correct. So this is the same. Now, if you see the same example which we wrote in promises, this is the same written in async await. Yeah. So I will wait for some 2 minutes. Yeah. So if you have any question, put it in the YouTube chat. So now if you see here, it is like for async await, again, the main thing I forgot to mention, if you are using async await, you can't do dot catch, which you did in promise, dot catch. So you have to use the try catch block from JavaScript. Okay, try catch or try exception if you use, like it's try catch only, I guess, in Java and Python. Okay, so try catch. Again, you have to mention, otherwise, if I don't mention try catch, just see. If I remove the try catch, what will be the response I will get if it throws an error? See, I got a simple thing, same thing I got, but what will happen? It will break the entire program. If it's a front-end application, it will directly throw the error in the front page if you don't handle the error. So it's always better to handle. Okay, here it's giving some different error only. Capture stack trace. Yeah, you can learn about it. Now it should work fine. See? Okay. So that's why you should mention try catch block. Inside that, what I did, I got data 1 after waiting for get data from server. This data 1 I passed to a function called process data, which returns me process data 1. This process data 1 I passed to a function called update UI. It doesn't return me anything. Okay. Now again data 2 I am fetching. See, this is more easy to read. These two are completely two different things. If we see the promises, you can understand that they both are different, but still again it's come together. So async await is more better way to handle data. Okay. So here, if there is error, it will do console error. Okay. Yeah. So this is about async await. So after this, so now I told asynchronous so many times. But you may think now, since I mentioned in my first slide here, it is synchronous blocking and single threaded. Whatever we did here doesn't make sense like that. Sorry. Okay. So like how asynchronous work? So I can show you it in a simple website. Wait. So before that, let's try some questions. Okay. I'll create a new test.js file. So I will try to execute set timeout. Set timeout function, the same thing which I wrote, okay. It will return after 2 seconds. I will do console.log hello after 2 seconds. If I run this, okay, I should run it back. It shows me hello after 2 seconds. Okay. So now if I change the set interval, as I told, it will show me hello after 2 seconds, every 2 seconds. See, it keeps on going until I put any condition or anything, or if I just force exit. Okay. So now let me see what to do here. Console.log. Okay. And here I'll put console.log.p. Simple question, console.log C. Okay. So what will be the output here? Okay. So many people may know this question because it's pretty common and it's common in memes as well. So if I run this, what will happen? First A will get executed, then C will get executed, then after 2 seconds B will get executed. See, even though B was in middle of A and C, the C got executed before B. It was not blocked. If you see here, according to synchronous, it should have blocked it. It's a blocking thing. But still, it waited for 2 seconds. Still, it didn't block the last console log. If I run it any number of times, okay, wait, it's still the same. Okay. So that's the beauty of asynchronous JavaScript. Like once this code if it is waiting, it will wait differently. Till then, the other code, which is below it, will get executed. As I told in a previous example, if the 10th line is taking 5 seconds to execute, if it is in asynchronous, if you are written it in asynchronous code, what will happen? It will be waiting separately in the background. Then the other lines will get executed. Once the 100 lines got executed, then the 10th line will come and it will get executed. Okay. So that's how it works. So that other people won't be waiting till this thing. Okay. It's basically, now I can give you another analogy. If you are waiting in a bank, so imagine one person is you are 3 people standing in a queue. Okay. So this first person went there and he got his ticket, he came out. Okay. Then the second person, he had some issue with this mobile. Like imagine he forgot his mobile password to just do some UPI. So will he be waiting in the line only? The bank manager will tell you, go and stand in the side. Once you figure out your password, then you come back. Till then, I will check the other people in the queue. So what will happen? The third person will go and he will do his transfer or anything. Then after that he is done, he has a lot of time till he finishes. Imagine he finishes after 2 seconds. So he will come 2 minutes. So he'll come back and he will do the transaction. So that's a simple analogy which you can take here. Okay. So yeah. So that's this thing I showed you in this thing, right? In code. But now we can see it in, I have one website which is JavaScript visualizer. Okay. Let me close it. So here I can visualize whatever code I wrote. I can make it 2 seconds. Edit. 2 seconds. Okay. So now there is a task queue. Okay. If you don't know the JavaScript architecture, wait, I could have drawn it, but it will take some time. I can show if there is any images. Okay, I forgot to take the images from web. Yeah, it's basically something like this. There's a better one. Event loop diagram, maybe. Yeah, I should have saved it. I forgot to save that. Okay, yeah, this is the correct one. So there is something called as all stack, And then here it can be a Node APIs or it can be web APIs. Web APIs when you are running it in the browser, okay, or Node APIs if you are running in this thing, which thing, like Node.js, like in a terminal, which I am doing right now. Okay. So now what happens when this code, since JavaScript is synchronous, it will go one by one, step by step. So this call stack, I will take the functions one by one. So this, the variable assignments, it will be taken in, like there is one called a memory heap. It will be stored there. Okay, the variable assignments. Then the functions will come to call stack. Then it will execute step by step. Okay, first example 2 will be stored in A, 3 will be stored in B. Then it will be calculated. There will be a variable sum which will store 2 plus 3, which is 5. Then the console.log is pushed to the call stack here. Now since it is synchronous, now this will actually output your total and it will show the sum which is stored in variable. Okay, for example, it can be 5. It is 5. Okay, so total is 5. It will output here. So now if you see for asynchronous function, what happens is, if there is, for example, if they have any code here, can show it. Okay, yeah. See, if there is set timeout here, so console.start, it will go to call stack, then it will get outputted. Next, set timeout. Set timeout, what happens? Set timeout is a function, so it will go to the call stack. All the function goes to the call stack. Stack is basically it will go one above the other. The function which is called at the last will get popped first. So that's basically the concept of this thing stack. Okay, so it will come here. Then it will console log the 0 second, like not, it won't console log the callback function. See, since now this is a asynchronous function, what we'll do, call stack will get to know, okay, this is asynchronous function. And there are many things below it. So what we'll do, it will send it to the Node APIs or web APIs. So now this function is here in the background. This is basically the waiting area where the asynchronous function will get executed. Okay, so now this function is here waiting here. It comes next. It goes next. Next, this is a set timeout. Again, set timeout. It's again asynchronous function. What call stack does, it sends the callback from here, the callback function which is present here, to Node APIs. So now the callback function is waiting here again. Next, it goes to console log. Console log, it's synchronous, knows it will come here, it will get executed here in the output. Okay. So now what happens? Now there are two functions waiting here. So now if you see, one is for 0 seconds, one is for 0 milliseconds, one is for 2000 milliseconds. So what will happen? The 0 millisecond will get executed. So it will go to the callback queue. Once it got executed, it will go to the queue. Okay, once this waiting room is done, it will be waiting here in the queue. Okay, why queue? Because imagine this program is very big and this asynchronous function got executed in middle of the program. So if it directly puts it into a call stack, the entire program flow will get messed up. So just to avoid that, it goes to the callback queue. Okay, now from the callback queue, there's event loop. What event loop does, it keeps on checking whether the call stack is empty or not. Like the only work of the event loop is to keep on checking whether the call stack is empty. So now if the call stack is empty, what it will do, it will push, like pop one element from the queue and it will put to the stack. Then it will get executed and it will show the output. Again, it will check if call stack is empty. It is empty. Again, it will take another element, it will put here and it will put to the output. Okay. So that's how the entire flow works here. See, now they have given here step by step. See, the console log start, it get put to call stack. Then from the call stack, it got outputted. So then it will go to set timeout function. This function will pass to the Node APIs. See, it passed to the Node APIs. Then from the Node APIs, it is getting executed there. Since it's 0 second, it went to the callback queue. So now see, another function is there. This callback queue can't directly go to call stack because it will mess up the program if we do directly. So the event loop, the work is there. If we just check whether it is empty or not. So in the next step, again, it's a asynchronous function. It will go here. It will wait here for 2 seconds. Till then, the end will come here, the console log end, the call stack. It will come, it will output the result here. So now if you see the 2 seconds have passed, there are two, callback functions in the callback queue. See, the callback functions are in the callback queue, easy to remember. So this callback queue, once one function is done, it will come here to the call stack, it will get executed. Then the second function will come to the call stack, then it will get executed. Okay. So that's how simple it is. Like for now, you may find it difficult, but if you understand the concept really easily, it like really well, it will be really easy to understand like what is call stack, what is callback queue. Okay. So now the same program I will run here. Okay, I will run. See, if I press next, A got console logged. Okay, wait, I have to go step by step. I pressed auto on. Okay, see, A got executed. Here, if you see the output, there is A. Now, if I press next step, see the timer function. The callback function got put in the task queue. Okay, so now it will go to the callback queue. It is there in like, since it was in the call stack, but since it's asynchronous, it will go to the task queue. Okay, so now C got executed because this is waiting for 2 seconds. Then if I press next, a task, after it goes to the call stack because it spent 2 seconds here. It came to the call stack, and you should know like every function should come to the call stack to get executed. Okay. Now if I press next, it got executed. See ACB, the output. Now it's done. Now what may be the answer here if I change it like this? This is another tricky question. Okay. 1 second. Yeah. So here, just can you guess? Can anyone guess the answer here? It's again pretty simple. Okay, so I will see the chart if anyone has answered. Yeah, so it is pretty simple here. What you can do, this will execute like this. First A will get executed. Then since it's asynchronous function, it will go to the callback queue. As it is known, like as I told, because it's asynchronous, they won't see the time. Even if it's 0 millisecond, it will go to the callback queue because it's asynchronous. So then C will get executed. Then after the time is done, like it will be done instantly, it will be still waiting in the callback queue or a task queue. Then it will come down, come to call stack, and then it will get executed. Now if I run this, see ACB, that's the answer. That's a simple thing. Okay, so there is one question in the chart. Are there any advantage of promises over async await or vice versa? So basically, if I say async await is just a sugar-coated syntax for promises. Async await in the background uses promises itself. Okay, so but it makes it easy to read compared to promise. So if you see promise example and async await example, see it minimizes the code very much, and it is really easy to modify and change as well. So many people prefer async await. You can use promises as well. There is not any problem. If you use promises, you have to again do dot then dot then again because we use to await here. Okay, and then a catch. So instead of that, you can directly do simple like this. So mostly it is for like developer convenience. Like it is just some function on top of promises. In the background, it uses promises only. Okay, so yeah, moving towards it. So this is basically how this entire thing works. Like the call stack where all the function gets executed one by one. Then we have the callback queue where like while all the function come, like if there's a synchronous function, it waits in this thing, web APIs or node APIs until it's executed. Once it is executed, it comes to the task queue or the callback queue. Then once the call stack is empty, the event loop tells, okay, the call stack is empty. You can come to the call stack from the callback queue. So it comes here, then it gets executed. Okay. So that's the simple thing about asynchronous JavaScript, like how it works in the background. Like it is single threaded, but still it does because of the node APIs or web APIs. So this set timeout and set interval works because of the web APIs. Okay, it executes in the background, then it sends to the single thread JavaScript again. So JavaScript is single threaded only. There is no multi-threading in JavaScript. Okay, so just how the developers have created those APIs, the web APIs and the node APIs, because of that, we can have asynchronous behavior in single threading. So that's how you can have non-blocking JavaScript code. Okay, so why it is useful? So imagine if I go to any website, take this website only. So I should see the front end before, like it shouldn't be like I should wait till the data is fetched, then only I can see the page. Okay, so now imagine if the data takes around 5 seconds to fetch. Until then, I will have just a blank screen. It's actually a bad user experience. So what we can do, we can actually do the front end, like render the front end first. Then in the background using asynchronous JavaScript, we can query the database and get the data. Then it will render the UI in the front. Okay, so that's how asynchronous JavaScript work. Yeah, so I guess this was just a small session on like asynchronous JavaScript, on promises, callbacks, and async await, and some asynchronous functions. Okay. So if you have any doubts, you can put it here. Yeah, like any concept you want me to repeat or like anything. Yeah, answer that. Yeah, I guess there are. Yeah, I guess we can wrap up this session. That's a question. All right. Yeah. So I guess there are no more any questions. I waited for some time. Why is JavaScript tough? Okay. JavaScript is not actually tough. It just depends on like how you learn. It's like simple to learn actually. JavaScript compared to Python, like it's similar to Python only. Just some behaviors of JavaScript make it little tough. Like there are some like concepts which is difficult to understand. For example, this asynchronous only. It's difficult to understand in one go. So like if you keep on practicing this, it's simple to understand. And JavaScript again, it's same. Like again, there are no data types. That can be another problem because yeah, for that we have TypeScript. It's similar to that, just a superset of JavaScript. So it's not like it is difficult to learn. Okay, wait, there's another question. If you have any function calling another function, but another function inside a chain is an async function. If you have one function calling other function, but one function inside that chain is an async function. You are forced to change every function in that to change async. I guess it is not like that, I guess. Because in React, if you see, if I tell you, give you example of React, like when you render the page, when you return a JSX file, and if you query the API under it, it will, like to query the API, you need async function. but still it will be rendered. The function, outside function, will still be rendered, and the page will be shown. Okay. After that, once the data query is done, then it will just update the DOM. That's how it's in React. Like, it doesn't affect that much. It will just run in the background. I guess it shouldn't affect the overall function. I guess that's how it means. How to start with JavaScript like any YouTube channel. Yeah, you can, for JavaScript, you can go with the free code camp, or there is some channel called as Web Dev Simplified. He has some good JavaScript content. Okay, I will just put it in the meet chat box. Web Dev Simplified. Yeah. Yeah, I stopped my screen for now. So then we have, it was mirroring. This, then you can go code with Harry if it is Hindi. I guess it makes me make the sync function that called the sync function also a sync. Yeah, if you have an example, you can share me like either in DMs or somewhere. I will go through that. So yeah, this is overall about, I will share my screen again. This. So this was basically about JavaScript, promising with JavaScript, like the asynchronous behavior of JavaScript. So here we did about, like, first of all, what is JavaScript, just in simple terms. Then callback. Callback is just a function, like a function which is passed in as argument to another function. Then callback help. Promises, again, like it is just a proxies before like any data is like either it's rejected or resolved. So if it is take time, you use promises just to avoid callback hell. Then again, an analogy for promises. Then we did promise, like how the same example of callback we wrote with promise. Then we have async await, which is just a syntax over promises so that it's easy to understand. So it's just a simple code about async await. Yeah, then we told about this thing. Wait. Yeah, here, like how this thing asynchronous JavaScript works in the background. Okay, so there's a call stack which executes the function. Then we have node APIs, which is basically background for all the asynchronous code. Once the asynchronous code is executed, it goes to a callback queue. And the event loop just keeps on checking whether the callback queue is empty or not. Okay, and the call stack is empty or not. If the call stack is empty, then it will push from callback to the call stack. Then it will get outputted here. Okay, when do we use async function? Okay, a good question. So async function, it is used like on the simple thing I told at the first, like if you see something which will take time, For example, I am getting data from database. Okay, it will take around 2 seconds to get me data. So I don't want my other code, which is down the code below the database, to get stopped till the database is fetched. So what I will do, I will do that in the background. So it will happen asynchronously till when it is happening, the other code will get executed. For example, the page will get rendered. Then after that, the the database once it is fetched, it will come back to the front and the browser re-renders. So for that we can use, or something which will take time. For that we will use asynchronous function, or basically these are asynchronous functions. If you see, I guess I didn't share, like set timeout and set interval. All those are asynchronous function again. Promises are asynchronous. Promises are used to fetch data from APIs or fetch data, query data from database, or like something like that. For that again we use asynchronous functions. So yeah, if you want to like do something in the background, at that time you will be using asynchronous function, so that all the main flow will go of the program will go, and the background data will execute on its own. Yeah. So yeah, that's about it. I guess I went to the revision of this as well. Yeah. So I guess we'll wrap up the session. It's already past 5. And yeah, and even the college maintenance people are telling to go out. Yeah, it's been time. So yeah, thank you everyone who joined for the session. If you have any questions now, you can either ping me in LinkedIn or WhatsApp. I will try my best to answer your questions. And if you want to connect to any speakers, you can let me know. And thank you for joining for the DevHost. We completed our 5 talks. I will just like do a small valedictory here only. So the first talk was by Mohammed Shahid. He had 10 years experience in Novigo, and he talked about CRM and Salesforce. The YouTube video will be available in our SOSC channel, maybe by tomorrow. Sankshipt, by tomorrow? Yes. Okay. So by tomorrow we can get like the Salesforce one, and the talk 2 was by Arjun Suvarna. It was regarding DevOps and cloud. He told like how to start with DevOps as a beginner. That also YouTube video will be uploaded by today, because yesterday we were unable to do live stream. So yeah, those 2 videos will be available in YouTube as soon as possible, by tomorrow hopefully. Then the talk 3, which was today morning at 11 a.m., was done by Adib Ahmed. He told about UX and engineering, like how UX affects engineering, like how it matters. And he also told about his story, like how he got into a senior developer role in Novico. And like, yeah, so that video is still available. It's available in YouTube. You can check it. It should be below this video only. It was live streamed today morning. You can check it out. Then the previous session, which was before me, talk 4, was by Swastik. Swastik told about like placements, how to get off-campus hiring, how to be in different communities, then how to like write your resume, how you can make it better. So he told many things regarding that, and he also told about different like tech stacks or anything which you can have roadmaps. He guided on that. So that video is available in this video only, which I am doing right now, live stream. If you scroll like 1 hour before or 1.5 hour before, you can find this video from the starting, and that we'll cut and put again as a new video as well. Sankshipt. Yeah, so that will also be done. Then this was the last session of DevHost 2023, which was on asynchronous JavaScript. It is a small session just to tell about like how asynchronous things works in JavaScript. Like it was kind of intermediate level, topic. So yeah, we'll try to get more beginner-friendly JavaScript sessions in future. Yeah, maybe in SOSC offline events or maybe online events like this. So yeah, thank you very much for being here for this entire DevHost and making it a success. Thank you to the entire team who like worked really hard to set up all the template, to set up the YouTube live stream, then to get the posters, the design ready, to promote DevHost everywhere, to get the speakers, to call the speakers. So yeah, that was really a big team effort which we put. So this ends DevHost 2023 online on a good note, and we will have DevHost 2024 maybe next year on, like, teasing it, hope for tentatively April or May hopefully. So we'll try to have an offline big event with hackathon and other, what do you call this thing? Yeah. So let's see how it goes. DevHost. So this ends our DevHost 2023 right now. So yeah, thank you very much for tuning in. So we will see you in, like, our future sessions. So yeah, this ends DevHost 2023. Thank you very much and bye bye. Yes. Is the team who are here in the background. I guess it is visible. Sankshipt, Srajan, Srujan, Triple S, who helped putting this. See how this is how we were live streaming everything. So yeah, this is behind the scenes of whatever happened here. So this session was here. Even Varsha and Sujal were here. They went in afternoon, sadly. So yeah, so this was all the efforts put forward to, like, for DevOps 2023. Yes, so thank you very much again. Last time. Bye bye. Stream and